Hey, Desties and Bride friends. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Okay, you guys are here right now because you want to know how this Desti Bride got married in Riviera Maya, Mexico. And I'm here because that's what I do. So if you don't know me yet, you will very soon because I'm going to tell you who I am. I am Omi Allen, and the Desti Guide to Destination Weddings podcast has been my thing. Season 1 was absolutely awesome, and now season 2 is going to be all video so we can see each other. So I can see you, you can see me, you can see these beautiful brides and couples and professionals that I'm interviewing to help you plan that destination wedding. So the Desti Guide to Destination Weddings podcast is coming back on January 1st, 2019. And until then, I'm bringing you every single episode from season 1. So every single day for the rest of December will be a brand new episode. So we've got Desties, we've got Desti Pros, and we are really just going to be here all up in your face, helping you plan that destination wedding of yours. So if you are excited about this and this Desti marathon, it's a Desti marathon that's happening. If you are excited about this, please let me know. Go ahead and leave that comment. Give me that hashtag, I'm a Desti, and let me know where you're getting married and when you're getting married. Because I need to know this. Because as soon as I know where you're getting married, I'll call up my Desti Pros and we'll be on here trying to help you plan that wedding and tell you what you need to be doing. So every single day we'll talk about what works and what doesn't work when planning a destination wedding. And we have a really good time doing it. A damn good time, if I could say so myself. So today is no different. Actually, you know what? It's very different because it's my very first Desti. Rashonda is the very first Desti Bride or interview totally that I ever did, and it was amazing. I was hooked. So now you see what's going on a year later. But anyway, Rashonda got married in Riviera Maya, Mexico. Her photos were amazing, but even more than that, she shared so much information. She planned her wedding while working a full-time job that she talks about, and then also while pregnant. And then she traveled to that destination wedding with a brand new baby, like a baby, y'all. So, yes, if Rashonda can do it, you can do it, and she did it, so you're going to do it too. And we're going to make sure that you get it done. So, without further ado, I will give you this interview with Rashonda. I hope that you enjoy it. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments. And be sure to subscribe to Desti TV. And make sure you ding that button. Make sure you ring that bell, because if you don't ring that bell, it turns out that you will not be notified of every single video. It just kind of, YouTube tells you about some of them, but if you ring the bell, you hear about every single one. And it's going to be you and me every single day trying to help you plan a destination wedding one day at a time. So we got this. So yes, all photos, all photos are available on DESTILAND. So the link is in the description below. And yeah, so I will see you guys tomorrow. But leave a comment because I'm watching and I'm super excited. So I'm all up in this. So if you got any questions, definitely let me know. Just good luck. Enjoy. Rashonda, thank you for this interview. I love you. I love you all so very much. I'm so excited for season 2. It's going to be like, it's great, y'all. It's great. Just know that. So I'll see you soon. Very soon, like tomorrow. And have a great day. Today, our special bride friend is Miss Rashonda Ambrose. And she's extra special because she's my very first bride friend that said yes. I reached out. I told her I loved her wedding album and asked her if she would be willing to share some details and give us a peek behind her veil of wedding planning. And she said yes. So thank you, Miss Rashonda, and welcome to the Bride Friends Guide of Destination Weddings.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to relive all of my exciting wedding planning. So thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be talking to you today.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. And you actually got married in Mexico, which is where I'm getting married too. So, have you been back since?
I have. I was married in Riviera Maya, and I haven't been back there since, but I've been to Cancun a few times. So Riviera Maya is absolutely beautiful, and I love it, and I hope to get back there soon. Are you getting married there or Cancun or what part of Mexico?
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be Riviera Maya as well. The
Oh,
We're staying in a little bit north of Playa del Carmen. It's a Secrets Resort, which I don't think is far from the one that you got married at. And
hmm.
then, but we're having the off resort wedding. So we're gonna
Got it.
be like a little bit further, closer to the city of Playa del Carmen. But it is a beautiful, beautiful area, and
It is.
your photos are amazing. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, the interesting thing about the photos is that the photographer, Petronella, and I don't know if that's the official name of her company at this point, but she and I were co-workers, and photography was sort of her hidden passion, and she was thinking about taking the launch to really go full time into the world of entrepreneurship and building that business. And I like we just decided to take a chance on each other. She didn't know what kind of bride I was going to be. I didn't know exactly what kind of photographer she was going to be. But I would say that I picked her because of her heart. We were good friends, and I know she wanted to capture, the beauty of it all, and that she would give it her all. And so that was a risk for both of us, but I think it resulted in something so beautiful. And I think it was just, we were friends, from the start, and there was just this trust and this love. So I think you see it reflected in the work. But anyway, I appreciate you taking a risk on me and having me be your first guest. But that was the story of the photography. But she's done such amazing work in the
Yes,
last.
yeah, I'm sorry. She is amazing. And because I found where I saw you on the Mona Lucci bridal site, and it shows the list of the vendors. And now she's by Petronella, and she
Yes.
is amazing. It seems like since your wedding, she's blown up. So,
Yes, I probably couldn't even afford her now. So I probably couldn't afford her, nor could I get her. She is really, really in high demand now. But um, it's something about going with your gut, right? So I'm
right.
really
Yeah.
glad that we decided to work together, and I'm so proud of her, and her work speaks for itself. But anyway,
Yeah, but actually, since we're I like this, we're digging in immediately. So part of the things, one of the big things is how do you pick your vendor? So we understand, like I completely understand how you decided to have her, but did did you have like the same? You only brought your photographer, is that right?
that's right.
Okay, everyone else that you got that was local.
That's right.
Okay, and then your planner. So you got married on the resort. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I was the planner. I didn't have, like I didn't hire an outside wedding planner. And so it was myself and my
Ooh,
husband
yeah.
together, and then the support that we had through the resorts planner, right?
Okay. Uh huh.
And you know, it's a very cookie cutter kind of a package, right? And their approach to wedding planning.
Right.
They do things a very certain way. They ask a very certain set of questions. They do it on a very specific timeline, backing it out into the days before the wedding.
Right.
So it's very structured. And I met my planner the few days before the wedding, right? Like I had never had a conversation with her. Everything was completely virtual. So it was a very interesting planning experience. It worked for us and our style, though. I will say that.
Okay, but you were able. Did you guys do? You guys didn't do Skype or anything at that point. You did
We
just
did
mainly
not.
emails, right?
Only email, 100% email.
Whew, okay, so were you? I'm just trying to imagine that right now, and I thought I was pretty laid back, but the closer and closer to the wedding I get, I'm losing my mind and I'm all about everyone's on Skype. I need to see you and I need to go, I like that, I don't like that. No, yes, no. But yeah, so you worked a full job and you planned your wedding
Yeah.
as a destination. Did you guys immediately know that you wanted to do destination wedding plan? Like an actual destination versus home is New Jersey for you? Is that right?
Well, he's Philadelphia born and raised. I'm from Western Massachusetts. So New Jersey is not home for either of us. So to your question, it's interesting because there was some initial conversation about, is it in Massachusetts? Is it in Philadelphia?
Right.
But we very, very quickly got away from doing a wedding in the States, like very quickly. And I don't want to offend anyone who goes the route of doing something in their hometown at the church and the reception hall. No
Right.
offense, because everyone has their own thing.
Right.
But the thought of it actually just made me completely against wanting to even go through having a wedding. It wasn't me. It wasn't us. The thought of it was just so not appealing to us. And so we really quickly got to a destination wedding because we are happiest, we are most carefree when we are on the beach.
Yes.
Like,
right. Just on vacation,
vacation,
just anywhere. Just take me somewhere.
yes. And so when we thought about what it is we wanted to do, it was totally about what makes us happy. And that is how we made pretty much every single decision. And so we didn't want 350 guests. We didn't want any of it. So we kind of quickly got to a destination wedding because one of the things that we did when we dated, like whenever we went on vacation, whether it was in the country or out of the country, it was the beach. Like we just wanted to be by water on the sand with a drink in our hand. So that was it, and we got there quickly, and it was nice that we were on the same page about that. So from there, it was really just about, okay, now which island are we going to?
Right. So who was the first person to go, what about a destination wedding? Was it you or Maleke?
That's a really great question, and I want to take credit for it. I think I can take credit for the idea.
Okay.
I want to take credit for the idea. I might give him credit for Mexico. I definitely give him credit for the resort.
Okay, and did you guys decide had you been to Mexico before?
At that point, we had not. So I think it's interesting. That's another really interesting question as you're making me think about it. I would definitely characterize our approach as very laid back. I would say we had a pretty big appetite for risk.
Which is important, which is absolutely, I think we all have that in common. You got to have a little bit of risk taker in you to do this.
Yeah.
So.
We had traveled, both of us had traveled outside, outside of the country at that point, but we hadn't been to Mexico before. So, you know how that is. Is it going to be what I saw in the pictures?
Right.
Is it like, who knew? We were going to find out when we got there. So we had a pretty big appetite for risk. We're pretty laid back and just kind of went with our gut and fingers crossed, prayer, hope for the best.
Right. Yeah. You just really have to do that. That's one of the things I ended up putting a blog post out where you just have to have a little bit of risk taker in you. You have to be somewhat of a daredevil. Some piece of you has to be willing to gamble and roll the dice a little bit. Not with everything, but you have to.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. So what about, I'm trying to think about, I have so many questions. Oh, I know what so there's a spreadsheet that I've heard about, and I read about this spreadsheet that you guys use to pick your destination.
Oh yeah, I think that's right. That's right. We did a little bit of a scoring matrix. So,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. So we actually had a little bit of rigor in deciding which resort. So we talked about all the possible characteristics, and then we gave it a score, to help prioritize what was important to each of us. And
Like on a
then
scale
that
of
helped
one
us
to
to
five,
narrow.
or
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we did. We put everything into the spreadsheet. We tallied it up, gave it a score. So we actually did do a scoring matrix so that to help us, because it's a lot of information to have in your head, and you get so many brochures, you're looking at so many places online. It's hard
absolutely.
to keep track of everything, and more importantly, the different, and at the time, maybe it's different now, but at the time there wasn't like a website you could go to, but like insurance, right, where you could load in, here are my 4 or 5 choices, and see the differences between them. There
Right.
wasn't at the time. I don't know if now, but
No,
at the
there
time
still
there wasn't
isn't.
something.
No, that would be
Yeah,
great
so
though. We should work on that. Yeah.
that's the next product idea. So, but we created that ourselves. Like, we literally wrote down the list, created the categories that matter to us. We gave it a score, and that was how we objectively got to our decision for that resort.
Yeah, we did something similar too, but that would be amazing. So, Desti gods out there, that would be great. Shoot, hey, who knows? You might catch a bride friends tool that exists somewhere down the line,
Yes.
because that would be amazing for us. But yes, for now we are stuck with the spreadsheets, and
Yes. It worked. It
it
worked.
does. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. I was like, oh, she did a rating system on a spreadsheet.
Right.
Okay, so this is the type of woman we're dealing with here. This is why that's why you don't need a wedding planner. You had that for sure.
Yeah. And yes, I would say I was pretty organized. Our budget was in a spreadsheet. Our mailing lists, everything had its own spreadsheet. And I was working in a pretty demanding job at that time, full time.
What do you
We
do?
actually What I did at the time, I was actually a brand manager at Pfizer Consumer Healthcare. So
Oh
I
yeah.
don't remember exactly what business I was on, or maybe I was on Advil at the time. So anyway, so it's Pfizer Consumer Healthcare manufactures and sells over-the-counter products, and has some of like the world's most iconic brands. So Chapstick, Advil, Centrum Vitamins, Preparation H. And so I was a brand manager, which is almost equivalent to like a general business manager with marketing expertise. So I think at that time I was in their analgesics franchise, so pain medication, and I was on Advil PM at the time. So I was in a pretty demanding job, and we had a baby before we got married. So my son was an infant during the planning process. So the only way, and I'm sort of type A by nature anyway, but the only way to stay on top of everything was having spreadsheets. That was my way to keep everything organized. So, and it worked, from budgeting to picking our resort to capturing our mailing list, and it worked.
How did you, I don't know, make the time? Like, you're a brand manager, you're doing all of this, and then you also have to take that break from work and work on the wedding, and then you have to stop working on the wedding and then go back there. Like, how long was your engagement first? Anyway,
Yes, we got engaged. It was less than a year, I think.
you did all of this in less than a year.
Yeah, we did. We did. I think it was just shy of a year, because I think we got engaged around October. I had the baby in January. We were married in November. Okay, so
Yeah.
wait, that's more than a year. October. So it was
Just barely. Yeah,
it was
just a
13
year.
months. It was 13 months from engagement, had the baby, and then November. Yeah, so it was 13 months.
I,
It was more than a year.
yes, I am becoming amazed by you more and more.
Oh,
This is
thank you. But you know what? I wasn't, there were things that I decided that I didn't care a lot about, right?
hmm
I didn't care about everything. And that helped. Some brides care down to every last detail, right? Like, the flowers that I picked out weren't ultimately the flowers that were there, but they're tropical flowers, so it works, right? And it didn't clash with the dress, so it was okay. Like, I wasn't crazed about everything, which made it okay. If it was close enough, because it wasn't about that for me. then it was fine. So I think because I chose the few things that I really, really cared about and really wanted to commit to doing well, everything else, maybe that's the 80-20 rule. I don't know. I focused on the things that were most important to me. After that, eh, you know, close
Yeah.
enough is good enough. So
Yeah.
that was my approach. And part of that, to your question, was because I had a baby, because he was an infant, because I wasn't sleeping, because I had a really demanding job. I couldn't work
You
on that wedding
couldn't.
24,
Yeah.
and I couldn't let it stress me out. I didn't want it to stress me out.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I'm learning right now. I'm learning because I am losing my mind about napkins. So yes,
No
I could.
way. I don't even remember, to be honest. I don't remember having a conversation about napkins. Like, it was probably the wedding planner emailed me and said, "What color linens do you want?"
Yeah.
And I emailed back. And then that was checked off the list.
Okay. And
I don't
you.
need to see them, touch them. I don't care what kind of material. Do you know what I'm saying? That
Yeah,
was
like
me.
that.
Not
Yeah.
everybody.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's exactly how it need to be. So yeah, definitely. That's my fiance. I'd say he's more that way, and he helps me.
Oh,
He brings me
okay.
back down.
That's a balance. That's a great balance, though.
Yeah, it's helpful, somewhat, but I'm still going crazy about napkins. So yeah, okay. And you used what's the name of the resort that you stayed at? Barcelo?
Yes, and I
Okay,
loved it.
you
I
loved
would
it.
absolutely. Yes.
Yes, and you brought your son with you. He's in the photos. He's oh so cute.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's his name?
He's a junior, Malik Junior.
Oh, Malik Jr. Okay, yeah. Was he in the wedding? Like, was he your ring
No,
bearer, or he was young? He was very young, right,
he
at
was
that
a
point.
bit. Yeah, he was 10 months.
Okay, yeah.
Um,
There's none of that
yep.
going on. He was just cute with his little white shoes and his little suit. So okay,
Which he, I think, ultimately wound up spinning. He threw up all over it, but we managed to get at least a couple of pictures with him in it before he got it dirty. But again, if he's a baby, who cares? Do you
right.
know what I mean? We were just so laid back and chilled through most of it. But we probably looked absolutely insane, though, I would say, going through the airport. I mean, can you imagine, right?
Wedding dress.
It's a wedding, right? We were there for a week and we have a baby. So it looks like we were moving our entire house.
Yeah.
We probably looked crazy.
Hey, did when you guys first decided that you were having a destination wedding, like say for me, we said it, we told everyone, and we got a mixture of different responses between the must be nices and then the you're not scared and just some of
Hmm.
everything. So, did you get pushback from anyone? Like, did you have any, please don't do this, or why are you doing this? Any responses that you just plain didn't expect?
Um, let's see. So all of the types of responses you just shared, I got. And did I expect it? I'm not sure that I even gave it enough thought, to be honest. We were so confident in it
Right.
that it was like, this is what we're doing and we're letting you know. It really wasn't a conversation. In my head, it wasn't a conversation. It was like, I'm giving you a heads up that this is what's going to happen.
Right.
And regardless, family's family, right? It invited, well, I'm not so sure that's a good idea because not everyone's going to be able to make it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
I
Yeah.
understand that. Well, is it? I don't know if it's particularly safe to go there.
Right.
Everything that you said, we got. Oh, well, how are you going to be able? Are they going to have I mean, you and everything you can imagine. We heard. I had a rebuttal for everything, and it was one of those things where it's like, if you can go, fantastic. We'd love to have you there. If you can't or you don't want to, we understand and we don't take it personal. But your opinion isn't going to change what we're doing.
Right.
But, obviously, like, my mom had a lot to say.
Yeah.
But I think it was from a place that the wedding felt, and at that time, as much of her thing as it was my thing, right? Like,
Right.
she was like, well, this can't come and that won't go.
My friends, my church friends,
I
my
don't
everything.
care.
Yeah.
And I think that's because sometimes family looks at your wedding like their event too, and it's not. So anyway, we had I want to say 35 to 40 of our closest friends and family there, and it was perfect. Like that, I was so happy with the folks that were able to make it out there. I was really, really thankful for that support. So, you just have to accept that everyone's not going to be open to that.
Yeah, definitely. Did you have bridesmaids?
It's a lot to ask.
It is a lot. It is.
It's a lot. It's a lot to ask. My bridesmaids were family members, and my sister, cousin, and future sister-in-law. And my husband had some of his closest friends, and his brother on his side. So, but again, that was one of those things where I was very flexible about. I was completely open to the fact that maybe I wouldn't have bridesmaids, depending on who was able to go.
Right. Yeah,
that was like the top priority for me, because it's a lot to ask. It's time. It's a big investment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you do a full wedding weekend situation with, I don't know, so I know some people do the brunch afterwards or a night before thing or a welcome, or was it more, what day of the week was your wedding to?
I think my wedding was on a Friday. I think November 19th. I think it was a Friday. We, which actually my birthday's on the 13th, and it happens to be my 30th birthday, which, that year, which sort of got overshadowed, but that's a whole other conversation for a different podcast. But, so there was a lot going on. So, it was important. So we knew a lot of our family and friends were going, right? Like for our wedding, but that was also for some people their vacation for the year, right? Like some people had to make that decision. So we wanted to be fair in kind of scheduling some things that were wedding related. So people had like a time and a place to connect with other people, but we didn't want to monopolize everyone's time, because some people were there only for a weekend and not there for the full week like us. Mm-hmm. So we tried to be sensitive to the fact that people may want to do their own excursion. They may want to have dinner with their significant other. So what we did was, the night before we had rehearsal, and then we had dinner, day of the wedding, wedding stuff. But we didn't do anything the day after. We let people know where we would be for breakfast. If you want to come, great. But we tried to keep it a little loose so people felt like we didn't schedule some people don't like that. People on vacation are very different. Some people like to wake up and just see where their mood is and go do what they want to do for the day.
Right.
Other people on vacation want an itinerary. So we tried to give it a little bit of a mix so we can make everyone happy.
Good. Yeah, that's something that we've been trying to keep in mind as well too. So with picking your date, it's so close to your birthday. Why did you do that? Just curious.
I know. And you want to know what? So I don't have any regrets about anything. If I had to name one, that might be it only a little bit, because that forever, right?
Your anniversary and your birthday are right there.
Are days apart. And I want separate gifts. I want to do separate things. I want to honor them. I want to honor them separately. Like, I don't ever want a 2-for-1, right?
Yeah.
But, right. So that wasn't the best decision to have gotten married 6 days after my birthday. But anyway, we picked then because part of it was the weather. We were trying to get, outside of hurricane seasons, and, we studied average monthly temps and all that kind of jazz. So there was that. It was a little, it's right before Thanksgiving, before you get into Christmas, and so before holidays. So we thought if we could get people to commit their money before the holiday comes in, it'd be easier than after the holiday when people kind of are tapped out. So we had some, I think, rationale for how we got to November. And then quite honestly, the 19th, like that Friday, probably was also a function of when they had availability to do what it is we were at the resort, to do what we wanted to do. So.
Okay. Yeah. How is Mexico in November? Good weather
It was beautiful.
at that
Yeah,
point?
it was great. It was really, really great weather. It wound up that so we were supposed to have dinner on the beach um after the ceremony, and they were calling for a chance of rain. So, okay, again, risk, right? It wasn't raining, but they said it might rain.
Right.
Rather than have them set up in the event that it did rain, we wound up moving it to a different location and it didn't rain. So that sucked because the dinner could have been on the beach that night. So that sucks. We made a bad call. We should have took the risk. We didn't, but it wound up being fine. But the weather was perfect. It was really warm, but not uncomfortably warm. I don't think it rained not one day that we were there. We were there for, I don't know, maybe 5 to 7 days. Um, it was great. It was a great time of year to go.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say, I just had a conversation with my dad, and he was like, well, you guys are getting married on the beach, and what if it rains, or what if it's bad? And I said, that's everywhere. It doesn't only rain in Mexico. If I got married right around the corner, because he's in San Diego, which is home for me, and well, we go all the way to Mexico. What if it rains? Okay, so I don't understand what your question is, because rain happens all over the world. So we're not going to blame Mexico for rain. You can't do that anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you can't control the weather. Anyway. You can do your best to pick the right time of year, but so I'm with you on that.
Yeah, Mother Nature is Mother Nature, so you can't even get mad at that at all. But as far
and I actually just went to a destination wedding in August, and it did rain during the ceremony, and it was outside. And you know what we did? We sat outside in the rain, and it wasn't like a torrential downpour. It was a little bit of a shower. It stopped, and we had do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you make it work.
You make it work. So I think you also kind of have to, I guess advice is like, you also have to play out the worst case scenario, right? And if you can live with it, then it may not even be that bad, right? So what if it rains? Then it rains. We start early, we start late, we move it in. At the end of the day, it will all be okay. I think you have to just remind yourself of that.
No, yeah, at the end of the day, it will be okay. Yeah. I like that.
It's hard to make the most of it, but it's true.
Yeah. So with I want to dig into the budget situation a little bit. Not too much digging, but you said you had your spreadsheets. One of the hardest things that I've realized has been figuring out how much things really do cost. So for you, was it pretty straightforward because you did have your wedding on the resort? Did they just pretty much give you a price list of everything, and then based off of that, you decided on how much you could spend? Or did you do it backwards, where it's like, this is what we're going to spend, and then we'll figure out how to make it all work in between?
It's a great question. So let me think about this. So we definitely had an itemized spreadsheet, and the biggest line item, like as you said, was the resort. And it is a package, that you're buying. So I would say where we started was we knew that we wanted to do cash. Like the thing has to be paid for when it's done.
Right.
That was one thing we definitely agreed to. And so if that was the case, then we had to decide on what like that finite budget would be. And we did. I don't think that we went over, because to be honest, I was tracking expenses pretty closely. And so if something was coming in over than what we estimated, it meant something else had to come out or it had to come down. We were very, really diligent about sticking to that budget. It wasn't like, do you know what I'm saying? And so we did the best that we could to estimate. We did based on what we thought we should spend, and also, getting benchmarks about what things would actually cost. So we built a top number, we itemized it down, put in our estimate. So I had a column for estimate or budget, whatever I called it. And then I had the next column, which was actual. If something's coming in actual over budget by X amount of dollars, another line is coming down.
Right.
And we had those discussions all of the time. And we also looked at, what percent of the budget was going to this versus that. Do we really care that much about this that it should take up 10% of the budget. So, we had a lot of conversations, but we stuck very closely to it. I think everything all in, everything like flight, hotel, the package, everything was probably in the range of like 16,000.
Okay.
And we were very focused on sticking to that number. So I would say it was a team. We agreed on everything along the way. And I think having a conversation before money got spent was super, super helpful.
Right. Yeah. So was Malik, you said he was involved with everything. Did he have any, like, was he actually picking things, or was it more you bringing the, like, for me, I'm looking at everything and then I bring my top 3 options to Che, and then based off of those things, he'll pick, and then we'll talk about money. Did you guys handle things more that way, or did you kind of give him did he take a few things away and then,
I didn't have any say in what he and the groomsmen were wearing. I didn't care to anyway, but that was like his domain. So he owned that. He decided what they were wearing, where they were getting it from. As long as it was within the budget, right. I didn't care. So like that was his thing. And the same thing for me, like my dress. And if we really wanted something that was going to blow the budget, then we needed to tap into our individual bank accounts to fund it. So that was also the agreement, right? So we had a joint account, right? We had a joint account for the wedding. But like if I had budgeted X for the dress, but the dress I found that I really wanted was 1,000 more, I could get it. It just means that 1,000 isn't funded out of that joint account, because that's not what we agreed to. So we also had that. But my dress, the girl's dress, shoes, he wasn't involved in any of that. We looked at menus together. We made menu selections together. And I think it was also getting clear on like what the other person cared about, right? Like he didn't care about flowers. So I probably didn't involve. We didn't even get the flowers I picked out anyway, so it didn't matter. But there were some things that he didn't care about, but he made it clear to me where he wanted to be involved and where he didn't care to be involved.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's great. So you said you guys had a joint account. Did you guys open, like you had a specific joint wedding account?
We did. So yeah, we did. We had, it probably was just like another account that I opened through the bank I was already with, but we both put money into it. And we spent out of that, and we knew that the only way you touch that is, that's for the wedding. And we agreed. Exactly. So we had a joint account for that.
Okay. And did you guys, and we're not trying our best, that we said the same thing. We're not going to be in debt for this wedding. So what we did was we've opened the joint account, and then every month we put in X amount of dollars. I think it's like $500 each or something like that for us to have it in there. Did you guys do it in the same fashion where to kind of you guys contribute? How did you save for your wedding?
It's really similar to what you and your fiance are doing. Like when we got engaged, I guess October, pretty quickly after that, we decided what our budget was. And we calculated out how much we needed to put into the account in order to get to that budget. So that's what we did, for the whatever months it was. We both put in our share into the pot, knowing that it would all get spent out, October, November, whatever the case may be. So, but that's exactly it. Like we said 16,000. Okay, how much will it take per month for us each to get there? And we put our money in the pot. Okay. And watch it go away pretty quickly as we got close to the wedding. But that process worked. So we're kind of doing something similar to what you guys are doing.
Okay, yeah. That we were wondering if that was a good way to do it, and it seems like in the last few people I've talked to, that's pretty much the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to come at the end and then just scrape it together, or everybody's just paying separately. And that way you can see where everything's going and coming. And I get excited about it. Like, I'm excited about the saving together from the beginning. You're just really coming together with it. Put your little money in every month, and you can see how much you're saving together. And then for you, did you guys continue that kind of process? Like, has it been easier to save for things because you've already been in that practice for your wedding? Have you noticed that at all?
So that's a really good question. So at the time, so we were a little out of order, but we had the baby, then we did the wedding, then we bought a house.
Oh, you were
But
right. Yeah.
we kind of did things not, in the order I thought they would happen, but that's what happened. So as soon as we were done with the wedding, we quickly transitioned into the house, and so the same process, and it worked really, really well. I think saving, at least for us, has always been easier when we have like the picture of what we're saving for. Like just the rainy day fund, which you just need to have. You do what you have to do, but like knowing that we're saving this for that has always been like really good motivation for us. So I think that process was good for us, and it helped us to achieve the next set of things that we needed to buy.
Good. Okay, good. So I'm on the right track with it then. That's my hope.
I think so.
I am a horrible, horrible saver. No, I'm not. I'm not a horrible saver anymore. I used to be. Before my fiance came into my life, I have not been great with saving at all. And that's all he does. He checks his bank account every single day. That sounded crazy to me. It still sounds kind of crazy to me, but it's really great. So this wedding has been wonderful just for me to be able to see it. It's something that, you're right, it's something that you really want. And I can save for a pair of shoes or a bag or something simple like that. But when it's something so big and important,
Yeah.
it's a great confidence. It's a financial confidence builder is what I'm learning. This wedding, it's
Yeah.
helpful with it.
Yes. We have those like we did it moments, right?
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
it's a good feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. For just when you had your, like, did you guys have actual, we did it, like for us, I like to celebrate. I like to pop my little bubbly. So we've kind of, I don't know how many bottles of champagne we've popped at this moment, just because it's like, yay, we sent our invitations out. Yay, we saved up this amount of money. Yay, we're just all about the celebrations. But yeah, you got to
That's
have those
good.
yay moments, right?
Yeah, that's really good to keep it going because it gets hard in between. It's a good idea. We didn't actually do that, but I'm listening to it. I'm like, that actually could have been a good idea because in between, it is hard, right? Like,
Yeah, you're
changing
sacrificing.
out
Yeah,
our
it's got to come from
activities and things are
somewhere.
not going. Yes, we saved it into the end, but doing that at certain milestones through the planning, I think is important. So I think that's a really good piece of advice.
Right. Yeah, thanks. And I have to go back to your dress because, first of all, your dress is gorgeous. And I'm talking about all of these photos, and they will be in the show notes section of this episode. Just so those will be in there. And
Yeah.
then anything else that I can possibly pull from you, we'll throw that in the show notes for our bride friends. But where did you get your dress?
I got it from Kleinfeld's in New
You
York.
did. I'm sorry. I was like, did you say yes? Did you say yes to the dress?
I did. I did. And, it's interesting because the type of person that I'm really not. I get excited by like the treasure hunt in Filene's basement, Nordstrom Rack, TJ
Yeah,
Maxx. Like, I'm all about a deal.
absolutely.
So this was nice for once that I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna splurge. And that was my splurge dress. I will probably never spend that much money again on a dress. And what is absolutely horrible is that after the wedding was over, I didn't do the dress, but I took the dress off, I threw it in the Kleinfeld bag, brought it back, and you want to know what? That dress has been in that bag. It's disgusting. It's been in my attic. I didn't even get it cleaned.
You
That's how
no,
it's so it's horrible. The amount of that stuff was.
Rashonda.
No, I know. I had to release it. Nobody really knows that. I had to just like confess that. I had to confess it because I loved the dress. It was a big investment for me, and it's sitting in a bag with sand from Riviera Maya in it.
And for reference,
At it.
yeah, and for reference for the listeners out there, she got married in 2010. This is 2017, people.
It's in the bag. It's probably yellow. But
You need
you
to
know
go
what?
up
I was
there
over it
and take
and
a.
open the
We
bag.
need that. We need you to open it up. I mean, I need you to open that up, take a picture, and then do something with that gown. Take it to the cleaners, please. That gown is
I mean,
entirely.
it's
They'll probably
pink.
just look at you like you're crazy. Like, what is
But
this?
I know, I know. Here's what I'm gonna do. Well, and the other thing is, I didn't have daughters, right? So I have two boys. I'm gonna cut a bead off or something off of it so I can like hand it down to someone at some point, and then the rest is probably getting scrapped. I honestly
You haven't even
wasn't.
looked at it. You just haven't
No,
seen
I don't
it.
even know what it looks like. No, I don't even know what it looks like. I was done. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the thing was over, and it was like I'm finished, and I was on to the next. Like I didn't even look at that dress. I'm surprised I packed it up and brought it back from Riviera Maya. To be quite honest with you,
You went and
you
you
would have thought
never.
I was like a diva, and I was
I'm
Mariah
sorry.
Carey, wore it once. You would have thought, right? Like I was Mariah Carey, wore it once, performed in it, stepped
Yeah.
out of it, moved the hell on. I was over it.
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
gonna
was.
give you one of those. Must be nice. It must be nice to be.
But it was a cool experience though. And what was hard was like, so I when I bought the dress, my son was probably like 4 months. So my body was going through changes. So every fitting, things were changing, right? Like stomach is shrinking back into shape. My boobs are not as I'm not getting into all that, but do you know what I'm saying? Like my body was in a different state
Yeah,
where I was at 4 months and trying that dress. So that was I was a little nervous about that because my body was changing so quickly. And I bought it my son was 4 months, so it was probably around April. This wedding is in November. It all worked out, but I had a lot of fittings and I had to really space them out because I was, postpartum. So my body was just doing kind of weird stuff. But there was no dieting. There was no like, I wasn't dieting.
I was wondering
Out.
about that. Did you kind of go hard on yourself for that reason,
I
or
didn't.
you seem very
Sure.
much like a oh well, it'll
Here
be
it
all
is.
right.
This is it. I didn't exercise. I didn't have a target weight. I didn't exercise. It was like I just had a baby. So this is what it is.
And you look beautiful. So
Oh,
hey,
thank
yeah,
you.
you're my
You're
hero right now. You're my shero for real. Everything about it. Oh man,
Thank you.
so when you were looking for your dress, did you? Some people are. Now, first of all, I love your gown because it looks like you just love the gown. Did you just go in with any preconceived notions like, I'm having a destination wedding, so it has to be like this, or it has to have these specific criteria, or I don't want this? Did you do any of
Yeah.
that?
Um, I definitely wanted I think what you said is a really good point. Like I wanted something that fit the occasion. So I wanted something that was different. I wanted something that was fun. And a lot of people didn't like the dress my grandmother, I don't think she liked the dress initially. There were people who kind of reacted like, but
Really?
I the dress, yeah, I loved it. And I'm glad that you said like you could see in the pictures that I loved the dress. I did. I really liked the dress. And I picked it because I felt like that was my Riviera Maya dress. Like that was the dress I wanted to wear when I was there. So it very much was about fitting the occasion. So, and it was quick. Like I didn't dress shop. Like I didn't spend hours online looking for the kind of dress that I wanted. I walked in there and look, I'm a decent size. So you also have that factor. You go into Kleinfeld and you don't, when they're giving you dresses to try on, they have nothing fit
Oh
because I
God,
don't fit
yeah,
anything.
it's
You know what I'm
ridiculous.
saying?
But yeah,
So,
it's
and
ridiculous.
I'm like swollen because I just had a baby. So anyway, that was a little uncomfortable, but I saw the dress and I'm like, that's perfect for that occasion. And that was what was most important to me, was something that felt festive and fun and different. And it wasn't as, I don't know, classic or traditional as maybe some of my family members wanted, but I didn't care. I was happy with it.
Did they come with you? Because you went to New York, obviously,
Yeah.
for this.
I did.
Even
I
though
did.
it's up in your attic being disrespected right now. So,
I did. I did. My mom and my other mom and my sister probably, and so there was a small group of us. And the funny thing is, my paternal grandmother couldn't be there in person, but I showed her pictures of the fitting afterwards. And what she said, I love her to pieces, but she just has a way of words. And she says, "Oh, she's like, I think I really like that dress. It doesn't show how big you really are." And
oh,
I
yeah.
was like, I think
Oh,
that was it, but
thank
I'm not
you. I think.
not sure. She meant it as a compliment. It just sort of didn't come out right, I think. But anyway, there was a lot of fun moments in the wedding dress process, and I had to just kind of shrug it off, feel confident in what I wanted to do, and keep moving along. There were people who were like, "You're buying a dress from Kleinfeld, dress that you're going to wear once, never wear again, put in your bag."
Would
Some
you
people
really,
were,
like, only if they really knew what you
which
were
I
going to
did.
do?
Well, exactly. And so some people question my judgment for spending us. People always have so much to say about things that,
And I didn't
it's
ask
like
you.
none
I
of your
did not
business.
ask you.
Didn't have
Nope. Yeah. Didn't ask you what you
to.
thought of that at all. So,
So you have to be kind of comfortable in your decisions, and not let people talk you out of things that you feel pretty good about. And that was probably the one thing I felt like I got the most unsolicited, advice and comments around.
right. So how much was your dress roundabout? It's been a while, so roundabout.
Oh, it was over 2,000, but less than 4. And that's the
Okay.
best I can remember. Yeah, it was in that range.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. So, yes, people do have their opinions. And I feel like it's especially for destination weddings. You just all of a sudden open yourself up to people having all of their opinions and wanting to share them with you. All of a sudden, when I say I'm having a destination wedding, that means give me your opinion and I really care or something.
Mm-mm.
I haven't figured out what it is exactly.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it happened a lot. It happens a lot at different moments. I guess people have their things, right? Like once we got over the hump that it was going to be a destination wedding and it's going to be in Mexico, things kind of died down. But then, at different moments in the planning process, people really felt like their opinion really counted and really mattered. So I don't know. You just have to feel confident in what you're doing. And even if people don't necessarily see your vision, if you believe in it and feel good about it, just keep trucking along.
Right. Absolutely. With now hair and makeup. Were you at
Yes.
all worried? Like me, it's 2017 now at this point, and well, for one, I'm quite particular about my hair and my makeup, and I'm just probably as everything, also napkins apparently too. But as an African American woman, were you at all worried? Like, did someone else do it? Who did your hair and your makeup? Because you are beautiful. So, how'd you
Oh,
get
thank
that?
you. Well, and I wish I didn't have a professional stylist there. So I did my hair and my makeup. Well, I had weave and installation done before I went out, but I didn't have anyone touching me up. I did it all myself there. And when I look at certain pictures, only so much Petronella could do, right? But she did as much airbrushing and touch ups, and so she did a great job, I think, of fixing the things that I maybe a professional makeup artist would have taken care of, like concealer under the eyes, which I had, but maybe wasn't perfectly done. But you know what? It was one of those things where I think again on priorities. I wanted to look beautiful for my day. I practiced and I just said, I'm doing my hair and my makeup myself because that's what's most practical. And that's what I did. And I think it was okay. And it depends on how much it matters to you. Some people don't feel comfortable doing it themselves or want perfection, right?
Right.
I probably had flyaways. I probably had some edges not how they should have been. It wasn't perfection, but it was good enough for me. So I think it kind of goes back to that, like what matters most to you. For some women, the hair and the makeup has to be perfect, in that case, I would say you should spend the money and fly your stylist out there, or find a good person wherever you're going. It just matters how important it is, and that wasn't of the highest importance to me, that I was willing to book a ticket and a hotel room for someone to fly out with me to do that.
Right. And the other thing is, you obviously know how to do your own hair and makeup, and everyone doesn't. So that's another perk.
Yeah.
Because what day did you arrive to Mexico?
So, yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe like midweek, because I was there a few days before and a few days after. So maybe we got there like a Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we left the following. So the wedding was on a Friday. So we came a few days before, left a few days after. So that's an even better point. Trying to keep that hair in check.
Right. That's exactly where I was going with that.
That's such a good point. So I got in the water, but I didn't fully, submerge my head in water. Mm-hmm. Before the wedding. So I had to be mindful of that, because the wedding wasn't going to be right when we got there. So that's a really, really good point about the hair.
Yeah.
I had to take very good care of it.
Right. Yeah. I think that's really important. It's really important for us to know how to do our hair, at least to maintain it to begin with. But
and the weather, yeah. Right? The humidity is different. You have to account for that in your makeup. So when I went for makeup consultations to get new products to take with me, mm-hmm. I made sure the makeup artist knew where I was going, so that we could factor in humidity. So that was something else. I think if you're going to do it yourself, you have to make sure you have the right products for wherever it is you're going. Right.
And for extensions, you have to have the right hair too. I realized that. And that's just in travels and in vacations. Yes. Was your hair straight? Like, did you straighten it, or was it straight hair? Just curious.
It was straight hair. It was straight hair, and that was the longest I had ever. That was really long for me. I normally, I normally keep it shoulder length. So that was the first time I had it at that length. And I didn't get the style done like in advance, try it out, and then get it done again for the wedding. It was again, I took a risk. I'm like, I think this is going to work. I think this is what I want. I had it put in and worked it. So, I don't know. That was okay for me, because I figured if I didn't like it straight, then I'm going to curl it. So again, I was just going to be flexible, and I brought a lot of stuff just in case things were wrong. Just in case.
Yeah. And then I'm assuming your bridesmaids did the same. They were able to do their own everything as well.
They did. And that could have went really wrong. I didn't give them any rules, right? Like, I didn't say that could have gone really badly, right? Like, I didn't say, stay away from these colors.
Yeah,
hair has to be down.
No orange lipstick.
I didn't say anything, but I think that they knew me well enough to know what kind of look I would expect.
Yeah, don't go crazy with it.
It kind of worked out. Yeah. But I wasn't heavy-handed with them. Their shoes, I told them the color, and I let them pick their shoes. So I was very flexible with them.
Good. Very understanding bride. That is wonderful. Yeah. Okay, so we're winding down on time, so I don't want to keep you for too long, but I do want to make sure that I get the most out of you that I can. So, I'm funny. I've started this thing where I just pick a random question, but okay. My random question you've already answered, so this is great. But
I know we've covered a lot of ground.
Oh my gosh, we really have. I mean, which is wonderful. It's amazing, and I completely appreciate it. So who knows? This may be edited. This may not. I think I might keep it though, because I kind of like it. So, what advice can you offer a future Desti? But before you answer, there are certain things you can't say. You can't say, enjoy your day and enjoy the planning process. And you can't say, forget what everybody else thinks.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Oh gosh, I should have been prepared to answer
made it
this.
a little. I should have. Nope, it's on the fly. But yeah,
It is.
you can take your time. But yes, we want some real stuff here.
What
So.
advice would I give? Um, okay, so that's a really that's a really good question. Um, I'm gonna try to limit my response, I think, to three things, three pieces of advice I would give. I think this meets your parameters. So I would say one, I think one piece of advice I would say is that in terms of thinking about your guests, I think it's real with a destination wedding, you have to remember that you're asking a lot from your bridal party and from your guests. And so I think it's really nice. Any special touches that you can add to your wedding to show them how much you appreciate them supporting you in that way, I think is really important. So, for example, we had welcome packages left at the hotel reception. So when each guest checked in, they got a package. And it was, thank you for being here for us. Here's what you can expect this weekend. We included brochures that told, activities, excursions. So we had a package. We couldn't personally greet each person when they arrived. So we made sure that there was something there for each of them. We also, I think we left each one a gift for home. It was probably liquor. But anyway, special touches, I think, to show your guests that you are really appreciative of them being there, I think is something that you really should consider and think about. And even in your activities, if you have, and maybe that goes for whether it's a destination wedding or not, but because you're spending a little bit more extra time together, I think activities that can help everyone to get to know one another is also really nice. So special touches to show your guests that you appreciate them. Maybe that's one piece of advice. I think another piece of advice is that, I want to say that there's a lot of things with destination weddings that I feel are going to be out of your control. And I think you need to know that going in and have some level of comfort with that. And if you feel uncomfortable with that, then I would rethink whether destination wedding is for you. Um, you're in a different country. They have different rules, different processes. Things taste different, look different. You can't touch, smell everything. You have to just be comfortable with having some flexibility around things that you can and cannot control. So I would say that's another piece of advice. Sort of think about if you and your fiance are that tight, can you be that way? And then what would be my last piece of advice? My last piece of advice, I would say, try to infuse some of the culture of wherever you are into your wedding. So whether it's the favors, it's the music, it's the food, I think that's a nice touch and it makes it memorable. We did that. We had a mariachi band. We drank a lot of tequila that night. Our favors, we just had a lot of special touches from even the invitations that just really connected in a very special and unique way to where we were. And I think it helps make a very memorable experience and event for everyone involved. So those are probably not cutting edge or never heard before pieces of advice, but those are, as I think about the wedding, those things really stand out to me. And as I'm thinking about feedback that I got back from my guests, I would say those are the special touches that I think really stayed with me.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. That's great. Thank you so very much. You have provided an abundance of information, and I appreciate you. We appreciate you, I'm sure. So I want to wrap. Yeah, thanks. You are an amazing Desti. This again is Mrs. Rashonda Ambrose, and she planned her destination wedding as a hard-working mother in basically a year. It kept her cool the whole time, for the most part, I'm sure. She had an amazingly
whole time.
No, she did. Kept her cool the whole time, which is something we can all learn about. She had an amazingly beautiful wedding in Mexico, a country she had never even been to, by the way. And she is my very first bride friend. An amazing, amazing Desti. And thank you so very much, Rashonda.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for letting me relive that entire experience. That was a lot of fun. And thank you for providing this to all of the other brides that are getting ready, that are on this journey, getting ready to start this journey. This is such an amazing resource. So I thank you for what you're doing for others. And good luck to you in your planning.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.